My boyfriend refuses to marry me until I sell my ex-husband's house. How can I get him to understand? Context: I was separated right before the pandemic and got a pro-se divorce during the pandemic. I have 2 kids with my ex-husband, one of which is 20 and lives with him in the house in question, the other is 18 and living off at college. I left the house December 2019 because he refused. He blocked all of my efforts to make repairs to the home and refused to allow me to take out a loan in my name to get the repairs made, and blocked that effort as well. He then had to take out a HELOC to make repairs to the home, which I signed off on to allow him to do this. I have no financial responsibility for this HELOC, as he also would not have had I taken one out. Edit: for clarity, my ex-husband's name is on both the mortgage and the deed. I am the primary borrower on that loan. I did not ask him to refinance the house to take my name off of it and buy me out, and we did not parse out property in the divorce because I wanted to be sure the court would grant our divorce, so I kept it as simple and straightforward. Yes, we agree on everything, as possible paperwork-wise, since neither of us had an attorney. We were divorced in summer 2021. After the divorce was finalized, we agreed to wait until the mortgage interest rates went back down, and we would then refinance and remove my name, and I would not ask for any equity since I took my savings account and 401k with me. I left the home and everything in it with him, and the shared bank account. I really wanted out. Since then, I have entered into a new relationship, bought a house with my boyfriend. I am the only one responsible for the mortgage, but he is on the deed, and had a planned baby with him because he really wanted to be a dad. We have been together almost 3 years. He is a stay-at-home dad, and I have a full-time job which barely covers our costs. Mortgage rates have gone up a lot, and my ex-husband was fired, so he is having trouble making the payments on time. I am still the primary borrower on that loan, and it is causing serious issues in my current relationship since I cannot get my name off that loan as soon as I had planned. I have not covered any of the payments for him or given him any money. The issue is my boyfriend is now saying he will not marry me until I can prove I am completely detangled from my ex-husband. He wants me to force a house sale and get half the equity in the former marital home. He is very insistent on this, and has used phrases such as "I will not legally bind myself to you until you can prove A, B, C." He has never asked me to marry him, but has brought up marriage to me along and along, always in the context of why we can't. He wants to make the rings but can't right now because he doesn't have a bench or the tools or the materials. He wants the baby to be older so he can remember it, and now this issue is apparently so pressing I am unmarriable unless I force sell my ex-husband's house out from under him. I am heartbroken, and although I did want us to get married, I now because of this treatment don't want to. How would you feel if you were in his situation? Is his demand reasonable? I feel I am doing everything I can to make him happy, but it's not enough for him. Am I being reasonable? Am I being manipulated? Comment. I guess a divorce and money issues with the ex all during a pandemic aren't enough to deal with. So why not add new relationship, baby, and a new mortgage which she's solely responsible for? And she's just now having doubts. And he's a stay-at-home dad. If she married him she'd have to pay the alimony too. Do not marry this guy. Let him sulk and let him know you're happy with the way things are with no marriage involved. Watch his reaction. You need to extricate yourself from this situation. This is a ploy to get her to do what he wants with a house that doesn't concern him. Yeah, I have to wonder if this guy is an equal to in any sense of the word. Since she is the breadwinner, is he taking primary responsibility for the domestic stuff? He sounds like a guy who doesn't want to work or contribute financially to the household but needs to control the household finances and assets anyway. Hard pass on that. She put a man who is not in any way responsible for the mortgage on the deed to this house. He's now a legal owner and has no responsibility to actually pay anything. He could actually force her to sell and give him half of any equity if this relationship devolves. She's really foolish for doing this again. Why would he bother to do that? He has it made. He has a woman who has agreed to support him financially and he gets to stay home being dad. What more could you ask for? He was smart enough to secure a backup plan in case this relationship doesn't work out. He has financial security in the house with zero work put in and more than likely child support. He is being a lazy deadbeat leech, and she is apparently addicted to complete loser mooches who bring nothing but misery and bills to the table. I don't get it either, but some people are really desperate for companionship and will settle for anyone who looks their way. It's really sad to see someone get taken advantage of like this. I wish that her friends or her mother would shake some sense into her. Yeah, no way this is real. I refused to believe it. Up had 2 kids with ex-husband, left the house that said ex-husband refused to vacate with an active mortgage on it in both their names, proceeds to have another kid with gold-digging sob just because he wants one for some reason, and then bought a house that she's making all contributions towards and didn't think twice about putting sob on the deed. So, in the divorce, it was decided that the ex-husband can just live in the house. She didn't ask him to pay her off, and he could keep the house to himself, all the while she's still liable for the mortgage. She then just forgets about this whole thing and finds a boyfriend with no job and never mentioned anything about marriage, only how marriage won't be feasible with her, and then thought, he wants a kid so I'll give him a kid. Oh, I know. Let me give him 50% of this house that I'm going to buy as well. I can almost predict the next chapter of this story. Up and Sob are going to break up, and Sob will refuse to vacate the home. Up then takes her poor child with her and finds another jobless broke man she'll elope with and proceeds to put his name on the deed of the new house she's going to purchase, while forgetting her existing 2 mortgages that one ex-husband has stopped paying for and 2 ex-Sob can't and won't pay for. Are you seeing a therapist that specializes in relationships, divorce, and matters related to what you are dealing with? Each therapist is different, and a good therapist will recognize if you are not in the right fit. I was referred to an LMFT because my stress manifested itself in my relationships. My friend sees a therapist that specializes in working with severe mental health and neurodivergence, schizoaffective, autism, bipolar disorder. Not that relationships aren't important in both, but sometimes you need someone that is more tailored to what you have going on. For lack of a better way to put it, you have to find the shoe that fits. Yeah, I think your he won't marry you is the least of your problems. You didn't settle everything in the divorce and still have a joint property that you are legally on the hook for payments that affects your credit and your livelihood. And you can't guarantee X will be able to refinance that now. And you have a second house that your BF put absolutely no money towards and you're struggling to pay all the bills toward, and your ex is struggling to pay for the other house. And you gave BF a son because he wanted to be a father and gave him rights to the new home. You are the only one struggling to pay financially. I think you have other issues to work on than being concerned about marrying him, unfortunately. Sounds like you are being screwed by former and current relationship. Next story 2. I walked in on my wife with another man. Cheating. How do you move past it? I came home from work earlier than expected one morning, I work night shift, to find another man in our bedroom. She was fully clothed and the guy was shirtless. She stated nothing had happened and this was the first time she had ever had someone over the house while I was gone and that he was a friend, but come on, let's be realistic here. I had no idea who this man was, nor has my wife ever mentioned any guy friends. And why the hell would you have a friend over at 3 am? I wanted to speak to this guy one-on-one, but she was making it clear that wasn't going to happen. I've already caught her in lies in this story and I'm pretty positive I won't get the truth. I barely got an explanation on this situation. All I really got was that she was sorry and she made a mistake. We haven't spoken much on the subject in weeks. Rather, something did or didn't happen or was going to happen. Regardless, my trust is broken. My wife has never given me an indication that she was cheating in the entire almost decade we've been together. I fully trusted this woman. She always leaves her phone in the open, never hides it, never really even on it. She's even many times given me her phone to use or look stuff up on. She never went out much, if she did it would be midday with girlfriends. Overall, I never saw anything for red flags. This was either something recent or she's been damn good at hiding it. So at this point obviously everything is up in the air. Divorce is a highly likely option. But for some stupid reason unknown to me, I find myself considering working this out. With her stating she's considering it as well. But I don't even know how. Is that something you can even get past? Because I honestly feel like in this moment I won't be able to trust her again. What about future relationships? If we were to separate, I feel like my future relationships would be affected. I'd really like to hear from those who've stayed with their so after cheating and how you worked through those issues. But any advice is greatly appreciated. Edit. Let me be clear. This is not fake. I feel most of these people understood what I was getting at. The first part of this post was not in regards to whether she cheated or not. I'm not stupid, I know what I saw. I know she's lying to my face and I know she's not accepting accountability. The point was to highlight her manipulative and shady tactics on the situation. As far as to being spineless, I'm not going to jail, losing my job and my kids in court over this. Could I have confronted the guy regardless of her making it clear she didn't want that happening? Absolutely. But it'd have likely turned violent between me and him. Is it worth my kids waking up, seeing that, being traumatized and having it brought up in court against me? No. So I feel keeping a level head through this is my safest route until I can get everything sorted with a lawyer. The question here was people that worked through infidelity. Not rather there was infidelity. Realistically, I know damn well what the right path is and the fact that there's no coming back from this. But I'm still human and there's going to be a small part of me that's gonna question my stance on this. Just as much as most of you say you wouldn't, I guarantee you would if you were in the same situation. It's easier when you're on the outside looking in. I can't kick her out. Legally. She has nothing. No money. No job. No family. Nothing. She's been a stay-at-home mom for all these years. I also have to tread lightly on the fact that I have financials I need to protect. At this moment, our terms are rough drafted and they're fair. More than fair in the fact I almost feel I'm getting the better end. I assume that's her guilt, but who knows? I make pretty decent money. If I don't have everything in a row, and decide to raise hell, then she could wipe me out through high child support and spousal support, my house, my investments, legal fees in a court system I don't have the upper hand in. So I'm acting a certain way to protect myself. Comment. Yep. I agree. And come on dude. There is no justification for having a shirtless man in your bed while you are out. Just divorce her and move on. There is no working this out. She will do it again, only be more careful and take it more underground. I mean, I don't know. My wife wrestles naked in bed all the time with her nude male friends, but it doesn't mean they're actually having intercourse. Without actually seeing penetration with your own eyes you can't really be sure. And even then, it's possible for it to accidentally just slip in during some positions in jiu-jitsu. Trust me, I know, my wife's personal trainer is a former jiu-jitsu champion. Also, heavy breathing and screams like harder, harder, right there, are very common in weightlifting and workout circles. You can ask my wife's physical therapist, he does one-on-one training sessions with her several times a week. I came here to say exactly this. I've found from friends who have been with cheaters 100% of the time they say she/he leaves his phone out in the open. And they always have a second phone that's hidden. I had a co-worker who someone found a burner phone with texts between someone that wasn't her husband. Probably this. She seems like she is practiced with lying how she responded to you. These people are a special breed where they don't like him for his authoritarian and fascist stances, they like him because of their own delusions that he is a good person. They genuinely believe that he is an honest man working for the people and here to save the country. I understand what you're saying, but it's not an unusual reaction to try and rationalize something that shouldn't be happening. It's often done out of shock, especially if no previous warning signs were detected. But yeah, Op's wife is a cheater and a liar, and he needs to leave now while he's young. You know how they say most criminals in jail are dumb. They do something dumb and get caught. But there's smart ones. Ones that run proper operations. Ones that understand that getting caught means losing the most precious thing in itself, which is time. They hide in plain sight. Going to work, doing their thing, whatever. And no one knows that once a fortnight they get 200 kilograms of cocaine and distribute it to 20 people and make a fortune and go back to their boring life where no one would even suspect that this could be happening. Your wife is like this. This is a long-term affair. Like a good crim, there is no texting or suspicious communications. She hasn't spoken or made admissions. She has been getting away with this for a long while and got caught by the old broken tail light trick. I'm sorry dude. Time to bail.